Well, well, well. Welcome to another Seanversastions. We have a brand new set and setting here. We are finding ourselves at Milk Street Studios today in Dover Rock City, and I'm sitting down with a guy that I know awfully well, Paul Justin Hollingsworth. Uh, we'll dive into all of the different things that make you an interesting cat in just a minute, but um, what I've been doing is bringing through all of the most interesting people that I know. I've been living my life an awfully weird way for the past 20, 25 years. And because of that, I am just, I don't understand how I know so many interesting people, but fascinating people. And you're one of them. And we were talking about how we're doing Seanversations. And with PPM TV going through changes, we thought a fun way to do this would be to go to different places within the community and kind of go Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, like stages. So today we're at Milk Street, which I absolutely love this place. Almost dreamed it into existence. It seems. Kurt, the creator, has basically put together an artist space here, and we should feel awfully at home. This is a rare treat to get to be here, and it's a rare treat to get to sit with you. So, hello, Justin, as I call you. What do you usually go by?
I'll go by Justin to the people that know me well. Paul Justin Hollingsworth is what I was given at birth, but went by my middle name since I was young.
Yeah.
So friends and family, I'm go by Justin.
So, okay. So, I guess I was welcomed into that circle, being a bandmate of yours.
Absolutely.
Because all I know you as is Justin, and every now and then I hear people call you Paul, and I go, I don't know who you're talking about. And then they go, this guy, and they show me. I'm like, yeah, Justin.
Yep, that's usually work or something official. So I'll try to stray away from that.
Yeah, usually it's that, and I don't want to correct people because you've clearly told them Paul, or they've taken you in as Paul.
Yep.
But I just nod along. That's you. Okay, so I kick these off with the thing that I call divulgence, and I just basically tell whoever it is that I'm sitting with if there's any kind of what is it called, elephant in the room, or a lofty thing that I need to get off my chest or out of the way, and just lay it right out at the beginning. So specifically for you, I could go on for a while, but knowing you, it's probably going to sound like sitting in a studio listening to a vocal track of yours, just one little spot over and over and over again. If I go on and on too much about you, it's going to be really uncomfortable. But as far as artists and creators go, there are a lot of people who are clearly talented at what they do, like really clearly talented. They're really good at either sculpting or painting or shredding on a guitar, and you can clearly tell that they have worked on the mechanics of whatever it is that they do. Sometimes they're doing something interesting with it. They it not just sounds good, but you can see that there's some fingerprint to the way that they're doing it. You're one of the most creative people that I know, and your authenticity meter is off the charts. And when it seems you sit to channel the muse and allow for creativity to flow through you, it's world class, really, really world class. And from graphic novel to any of the graphic arts that you just seemingly knock out for either Cursed on Earth or any of the stuff that I've asked you to make for me, it's like I expect something really good because I know your work, and you just repeatedly blow my mind with how incredible it is that you put something together and put it out, and you do it almost with complete ease. And I think to myself, there's no way that I know the person who did that. Like, clearly this came from a design house in South Korea, and the person who created that was under explicit instruction and given all kinds of really great ideas from the studio in LA. And that's just the person who was like, I'm going to go to LA and I'm going to make it. And it's like the biggest fish in Kansas ends up in LA working for a big production studio, and they put all kinds of stuff behind it. And it's literally just you with your computer and your massively tuned antenna sitting inside your mate's skull. So I don't even, it's not even a congratulations. I'm so honored to know you, and I'm glad that during this blink in reality, we lined up to be able to literally create together. It's
Geez. Well, thanks so
honor.
much. That's too kind. Too kind.
It's not.
It's like,
It literally, people seek out Justin and his work. You'll see what I'm talking about. So, diving right into it, you're one of the co-songwriters in Cursed on Earth, and the other one being your cousin,
yep.
Ryan Walters,
Correct.
who I believe is episode 6. If anybody wants to jump back after this one, Ryan Walters is the other. And if you want to talk about how you guys got onto writing, that would be really cool. But the other, I'll let you tell your own story, but I would love for you to let people know about all of the illustrative work that you've done, whether it be graphic novel or just some of the projects you've been a part of. I know the next episode that's coming out, I believe tomorrow, is Ben Cardoza. And I know you had a part in a Long Walk podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And the imagery that people see. It's a podcast, so it's mostly in your mind, but any imagery associated with it, you're going to see. It's your work.
It was a blast for sure.
Welcome.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Like I said, too kind again. And coming from you, someone who I respect as an artist as well, that means quite a bit. So thank you very much.
Thanks for that.
Appreciate that.
I suffer no delusion that we're the same thing.
No.
I do everything that I can to be a worthy creator, but I understand and I yield. I'm sitting with my superior.
I live in the constant fear every day of being discovered as a fraud. So
that is imposter syndrome, and typically those who are absolutely incredible at whatever it is that they do and truly authentic, they suffer imposter syndrome, where they're like, I don't deserve any of this. I'm nothing. They're going to figure it out. And I feel like every single time we play a show and we walk off stage, the 3, now 4 of us with Curtis, although Curtis he's another level.
Yeah, he's a monster.
He's a monster. He's a monster. Yeah, he's incredible. I think he knows how good he is. Mm-hmm. But the 3 of us are always like, whoa, we pulled it off.
Yep.
Pulled him again.
Is this going to be the time when they figure us out and take us to jail, right?
Yeah.
We don't get to play music anymore or something.
Yeah. And for some reason, it just keeps going. So I love getting to write with you. Now, if you want to, let me just do that. I could gush, and I could go on for hours, and we don't have that kind of time.
I'd have to leave too.
Why don't you start wherever you want? Because really, there's so many different interesting things that we can talk about. It would be a number of podcasts long. So
true, yeah. Well, I mean, we started playing together, in 2017, was it? I think, about 8 years ago.
Yeah, and I begged Ryan.
But it was a great addition, because up until that point, we kind of just had like some wavy drummers here and there and stuff. And I think once that backbone came in, I think it really helped push everything forward and stuff. And I'm always impressed with your patterns and how you fill in the not the gaps, but how to accent the different parts. You're not just keeping time, you know what I mean? Which is such a huge, it's such a huge, interesting thing every time we have practice and stuff. It's something that I enjoy.
Well, it's fortuitous that you and Ryan were so gracious as to say, if you change our music, we're fine with that. You can be as weird as you want.
Right.
And what we're doing here is if it sounds like something that we're all familiar with, we change it immediately.
Right. Yeah.
Because we don't want, if we're creating a piece of art, we don't want it to be, it shouldn't look like a Rembrandt.
Oh, yeah,
It
yeah.
shouldn't look like a Picasso, you know. It should be completely different. So, and that's just been such a giant help, because
Right.
the way that I came about playing the style in the way that I do was from early on. I had this thing in my head where if I learn too many other people's music and playing styles, it will influence what I'm doing, and I'll sound like them.
Gotcha.
And if I get into a place where I don't know what to do next, I don't want to grab for something that's comfortable.
Okay.
I want to always feel like the train is about to go off the tracks and there's only one track and we got to keep that thing balanced. And the way that you and Ryan have welcomed that, it has been fantastic. What I wanted to do was kind of not change, even though the invitation was there.
Yep.
I'm like, people I hear regularly, I'm a huge fan of Cursed on Earth, and I'm like, you're not a bigger fan than I am. I'm such a big fan of the Cursed on Earth music, like you and Ryan and what you guys have written over the years, that I went to the extent of begging, let me write drum parts, please. I want to play to this. Even if you just like give me tracks that I can just sit on my drum kit at home and play to it, I want to do that.
Yeah, just mess around with and
Yeah,
stuff.
the fact that you guys welcomed me in was awesome, and the fact that you were like wide open with the creativity. So basically it was, let me see if I can change what they've written as minimally as possible.
Right.
And just pick accents out, because the way that both of you approach writing is like, it's so unique because of your own experience, in that you've done the same thing. You didn't set out to learn how to play everyone else's music.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there's that. I was just talking with my friend Dan about this, about when you show up for the muse and you allow the creator to kind of work through you, your own experience naturally is going to play into how that's flavored. And if I were to try and change what you're doing, it would inevitably change the fingerprint. So basically, what you're doing with your accenting and with your rhythm and all of that, it's all feelings that you've pulled out contextually from whatever it is that you're channeling, whatever you're feeling and whatever you're crafting and sculpting. So if I take those and I just take a bit of here and a bit of there and a bit of that, and I put it together, and rather than playing a beat, I write something that goes linearly along with what you're doing, and just remember how it goes the whole way through.
Yep.
I don't know many things that have followed that approach.
No, yeah. That makes
Closest I could say would be like a Ginger Baker, like a early Cream kind of thing, where there was no roadmap to where he was going.
sense. Right.
Most of that was the heroin.
Yeah.
Absent that, I love that the way that you guys kind of operate is, it's not written formulaically. It's not something that sounds like something that somebody else has written.
Gotcha.
Here they are. Without these folks, taking Seacoast Entertainer to the next levels wouldn't be happening. Not to this scale. Tangram 3DS actively supports our music and arts scene and has proudly been part of it for the last 20 years. Their creative pros bring vision to life with everything from 3D renderings and VR to video, animation, web design, and branding. As a team of artists living and working on the Seacoast, Tangram considers a thriving local culture essential to us all, for the connections we make, communities we build, and creativity we foster. Visit tangram3ds.com to learn more, see their work, and imagine what they can do for you.
So we were talking, I was yammering on. I'll let you talk about your getting started writing with Ryan and how you guys kind of put together Cursed on Earth and started creating that channel, because you're much more an illustrator.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'd say that's my bread and butter is drawing.
Yeah, you didn't set out to be a musician. You guys didn't go to Berkeley.
No. I just started playing as something to do, And it's interesting hearing your approach to writing parts, because that is kind of like what I do as well. Like when, if depending on which one of us writes something first, like usually a lot of our songs start off with one riff or set of lyrics that one of the other of us will come up with. Then we kind of meeting of the minds it, and the other person will do accents on top of that. So the way I'll approach something, if Ryan comes to me with a cool thing that he wrote, then I try to pretty much just add to it while staying out of his way, in a way, I guess. It's like I don't want to change what his idea was in the beginning. I want to kind of help bolster it from underneath, So and it's the same thing with, like, every time you bring somebody new into a band, especially one where it's like, I think we started in high school just writing as like a 2-person group for a long time, just writing a bunch of, I don't know, we got like 40 ridiculous songs that are just like sitting on the shelf that, some are better than others and stuff, but it's always just been something that we've been kept in the bank. So to bring like a new person into that is always a little bit trepidatious, you know what I mean? But when we play with like you and even Curtis too now, like the way I always approach it is I'm focusing on my part, but I never hear anything that takes me out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like if something was wrong, like you'd be like, oh, wait a second, like, because that kind of like sticks out a little bit. But I don't, when you guys contribute stuff to it, like I don't feel like anything is like a sharp corner when it should be a curve or something like that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm still able to focus on what I'm doing, and it kind of all mixes together well, which is all you can really ask for. You know what I mean? And you guys are two such creative people that it's important to not try to tell you what to do on stuff, but rather see like what comes from your interpretation and then fit that into it. Because I think that's like the way you get something that's much cooler, is if everybody's kind of bringing their own thing to it and nobody's clashing with each other.
Yes. It's such a great thing that you guys are humble enough to know and accept, because that's a creator who's devoid of ego and is naturally curious.
Well, and I don't know notes, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. Like
Nor
this,
would I.
if I said like this is an 8/7 beat, I'd be like I have no idea what I'm saying.
Yeah,
right
that
now,
helps a lot.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is now, adding Curtis, we joke that we lost a cello player to COVID,
Right.
but she didn't die.
No, she didn't pass away.
She didn't die. She moved to be closer to family, which, when the pandemic hit, everybody was kind of like in that mindset, how are we spending our time here, all that stuff.
For sure. Yeah.
So we lost a cellist to COVID. But we, a year ago, gained another cellist.
Yep.
And both times they have been the only member of the group who is like classically,
Right.
symphonically, orchestrally crafted.
Yeah.
Either of them could sit in with any tremendous orchestra, or as she's doing now, in a 4-piece, like in a quartet,
Right.
like doing proper chamber music, and like they're just incredibly talented. So the funny thing is, experiencing Curtis sit and listen to what Ryan is doing, looking at his fingers, looking at what you're doing, listening. He's figuring out I know drum music, I know rhythm stuff, but the whole other side of inversions and all of that stuff, I'm at like a 4th grade level, maybe 6th grade at this point. Listening to him piece together what you and Ryan are doing, we've always said it's kind of like a three-legged stool between me, you, and Ryan, where each part is interesting. Each part, they all fit together and complement each other, and when they work together, it holds the whole thing up.
Right.
What you guys are also doing is the sounds that you're getting. You, like, for instance, you guys play, I say, the banjo a fourth way. There's like 3 ways to play a banjo. And then what you guys are doing is using it as like accent note. So you get the sound of the banjo, the familiarity of that instrument without the, like,
The Piccadilly.
the crazy madness of just thousands of notes per second coming at you, which is like, oh great, there's a banjo in this band.
Right,
like it's
right.
just banjo, 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 banjo. Whereas that light familiarity adds that element to the song without being super overpowering, but you're basically playing it like a bass guitar.
Right.
So it's just a little bit of that sound, and the way that it's placed, Curtis will be sitting there and he'll be like, "Oh, Ryan, you're playing in a C flat minor in the second inversion, and you're missing the G intentionally. So you're sus G, and Justin, you're picking up that G. So you're creating this chord. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the 13th, and then I'm going to step down through the 13th to the 7th in this inversion, and I'm going to create this like enveloping chord sound, which he can easily do because he's playing a cello. So he's like, what he can add to it is not just expertise and skill, which, holy crap, he has for days, but also this being his creative outlet, where like what he comes from, there's no creativity. You either are playing it correctly and playing it as skillfully as you can possibly play it,
Right.
or you're not even in the orchestra anymore.
Right,
like
right.
it's, you go, you're not first chair because you're not that good.
No.
Now you're down to second chair. If you're not that good, third, and now you're just like playing all supportive parts. Eventually, you're not there.
Right.
So if you're going to remain there, you have to be a technician, and you have to play better and better and better and better. But it's stuff that's all written for you, and you're either playing it correctly,
Right.
or you're incorrect.
Yeah, it's like an exercise in precision, right?
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah. So what we're doing is the polar opposite of that.
Yep.
What we're doing is creating something that sounds completely new. So he's like, he just gets to flex that creative muscle constantly, and it's like there's nothing really that's wrong. He knows what to do better than we do, kind of.
Right.
But with those parameters that you and Ryan are setting, which is here's the song, here's the vision of where it is that we're going, add to it.
Right.
It's beautiful. It's such a fortuitous marriage of 4 dudes.
Yeah. Yeah. We really. We lucked out with them, and we all lucked out with Eve too. Like our last 2 cellists, they've been great. And the cool thing is that they're tremendous in different ways. Like they'll take the same song and he writes something totally different than Eve did, and they're both really cool. Like both really interesting and stuff. And it's neat to see somebody who knows knows their stuff come in and kind of play in our world, because I always think like limitations are a great inspiration for creativity. Like you can make some really cool stuff if you only have a few things. And I know, like, to somebody whose brain is classically trained, like Curtis, he's probably like, "Oh my god, I could do so many things with this," And it's fun to see what he comes up with. And like sometimes that fuels a little bit of like what we're doing, and we're like, "Oh yeah, maybe we could do that a little upside down or something." Do it. It's a fun exchange. It's what makes practice fun,
I like that you're so willing when he says something like, can you grab the 12 string? I like what you're doing on the banjo, but can you take the 12 string and the part that I was just playing, you play it. And then you play that, and then I'll do this.
Right.
Because if you're doing that and I'm doing this while Ryan's doing that, we'll create this. And I would never know where to begin to come up with that. So it's so awesome that he has that kind of a muscle to flex. And the willingness to be creative like that can only happen if you guys are like, yeah, no, this isn't, nothing here is final.
Right, right.
We're making something together.
Yeah, and I'll try anything twice, you know.
Right, yeah.
It's like I don't mind if it's fun and it sounds neat and adds another layer. And sometimes we'll do it and say, maybe that's not the way to go, but that sounded cool.
Yeah.
You know, there's no hills to die on right now. You know, it's no hard stops.
I mean, that's kind of the process that we're in, that
Yeah.
we're using to create, which is you do the writing, you do the sussing out and the feeling of it, and get it about where we think it should be.
Right.
And then the recording process is record all of our scratch tracks first.
Yes. Yep.
So instead of just playing the song to a click in the studio, we play to ourselves. But when we make these scratch tracks ahead of time, it not only forces us to solidify our parts, but to rehearse them enough so that we can record them continuously without making too many glaring errors or really any errors. And then once we've recorded all of those, disappear for a month and listen to them over and over again and try and, what am I doing wrong here? What could be different there? Mm-hmm. Could this work better with what they're doing? And then after that, if we come back and we're like, yeah, we do have all of the parts just how we want them, take that, record, and piece it together and take that and lay it underneath. So, you know, I think rather than coming at it from a perspective of when we write it, it needs to be note for note exactly what we meant, and then we record it and that's final. That's exactly what that is. And now we walk away from it. I think the creative element, it gives a little bit more creative freedom because it's okay to be wrong, because we're going to correct it, we're going to change it. It's gonna live just a little bit for a couple of months while we're doing it. Right.
Yeah, and with like limitations breeding creativity, we originally started doing that. If I'm not right, let me know. But it's because we didn't have a lot of money, and we couldn't afford to go into a studio for too long, so we had to have everything settled before we went in, right?
Yeah, we're on a different track. There's some people are musicians because their aim is they want to make a great product that connects with a lot of people because that equals money. Money and attention equals recording deal. Recording deal equals somebody else pays for it. The secret is up front. The recording industry for the longest time, they sold the image of the globe-trotting, jet-setting rock stars who were just partying their asses off and having a great time, making all this money. And what it actually was we're going to give you $250,000 up front, but you're going to pay us back $1.5 million over the course of 6 albums. And we're going to tell you when you put those albums out. Right. They are going to coincide with our marketing efforts. Mm-hmm. And they have the ability to come in and tell you, you haven't written a radio single yet. So we're going to need a 2.5 minute, 2:30 to 2:35 minute song. It needs to have this many hooks and it needs to have a good lead in and lead out so that the disc jockey can talk over the beginning and end and chop it up if they need it to be 2 minutes and 15 seconds rather than 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Right. Now they're actually completely affecting the creative process, and what you're getting is marketing copy, not songs. It's not art. So where we were not on a track to appease people who are going to pay for the recording process for us, we're not looking for a label deal. We're not looking for a whole bunch of fame and attention. We're making a piece of art. So in order to do that, as working musicians, we need to be able to get in and out of the studio without spending months in the studio. Right. So what the way that we kind of figured that out was, as we're writing these songs, if we put them through the refining process to make these scratch tracks, not scratch tracks, but the tracks that we use to eventually record and play along to, that forces us to hone at the end of the creative process on each album, and then really commit it to muscle memory. Just drill it over and over and over and over again. And then the byproduct of that is we don't even have to think, when we get on stage anymore and play Custom Life or Forest Fire or like any of these songs, Violence and Instruments. The song is such a bear to get through top to bottom, but as hard as it is, we can usually do it because we put it through the recording process and we drilled it and committed it to memory. And the only reason that we had to do that, the biggest reason we had to do that, is because we don't have endless funds. We're not.
Yeah.
It's not a label that's paying for this. The studio is not owned by the label. The studio is an independent. This is an engineer that we need to pay money to.
Right. Yeah. And at the end of it, we could just say, "Oh, we got an album now," and that's good enough.
Look at that, we made a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and that's the big part of the music process that we're on right there, is like, how do we do it ourselves and answer to nobody,
Right.
but at the same time make something that we're truly happy with.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm truly happy to get to be a part of that, because it's like the process and the people. We're tailor made. It totally makes sense that we all ended up together.
Yeah, I think it's a good crew.
Agreed.
100%.
So not to completely pivot away if you don't want to, but I really want to hear about the illustration side of your life, because that you crank out some of the coolest, most interesting stuff, and you do it seemingly with ease. How in the hell do you do that? Where does that come from? And you said that's like your bread and butter. That's your number one.
It's one of my favorite things. So,
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be quiet, and you just.
Well, I don't know how much I got on the subject, but I don't know. I started like most people do with a hobby when they're young, right? I would color pictures and stuff when I was little. That turned into coming up with stories, as kids will do, and then you start drawing the elements of that story and stuff. And I had the disadvantage of living in a place that was kind of far away from other kids, like just geographically, where like my house was near like a busy road and not like I wasn't in a neighborhood and stuff like that. So I didn't have a whole lot of kids to hang out with during the day. So, naturally your imagination starts going and you come up with like different stories and different imaginations in the yard and stuff. And then you start drawing them, you're making them real. You're like, oh, I would like to see a dinosaur with like 3 horns on their head and a pair of wings or something like that. And then you work at it till you can make that happen with some crayons and some construction paper,
Yeah.
Then
I had a very similar setup. I was 15 minutes from my closest friend by car.
Exactly. Yeah, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you were in Madbury, right?
I was in Canterbury.
Canterbury. That's what. Okay.
Canterbury, New Hampshire, and if you don't know Canterbury, for the people who don't know,
I've only been there with you. One time.
It's a lot of trees.
Yeah.
It's a lot of trees, dirt roads, no stoplights. There's a flashing yellow light, but only one.
You only get one.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was nowhere near people, and I was illustrating a 3-panel.
Yep.
2 different ones when I was a little kid, and didn't keep going with it because music and soccer and skiing and like sports, like all of that stuff took over, and I was like, I'm not good enough, so I'm just not going to put it into it.
And you had other activities that you found some stride in, and you went off on them.
But I totally get what you're talking about.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I'm here. I can either hang out with my brothers who are going to make fun of me and beat on me, or I can disappear into this notebook.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you disappeared into a notebook and started illustrating.
Yep.
And you were like, what? I'm really good at this, or this is just satisfying and fulfilling?
At first it was just I was happy because I could exist in like a world that was fun, and I could make things that I thought of, but I never had any illusions that I was good at it, because I would always see my stuff as I would like, oh, this is just doodles. I can't, I'm not seeing the shape of things or the tone or the shading and stuff like that. I remember going down cellar and finding a box of my dad's old comic books, and him and my mom had separated when I was about 5 or 6, I think. But you find some old junk down in the basement or something like that, and it was a stack of I think Master of Kung Fu comics, and I just started reading those, and I was like, and that kind of started a fascination with sequential art. You know, like I was like, I love how you can dictate time between the panels and show like a movie, but not have it being moving in a very creative way. You can draw people's eye around it and stuff like that. I just like, I poured over those for like hours and hours. And then I started, you know, as you would, making your own characters up and drawing them and figuring out they're not good enough because they don't look like the comics. So you start tracing a little bit.
Yeah.
And then from there, you start drawing on your own. And then from like, I don't know, age 10 or something, I was just like, you know, I think I'm going to draw comics when I get older. So I kind of leaned heavily into art. Realized that there's a lot of people who can draw comics very well, much better than I can. So it's probably not a viable career. So I turned my attentions to just illustration and graphic design. Ended up going to college for that, and just been lucky enough to work in my field afterwards, which is like sometimes that doesn't always happen. But
Yeah, it's only the gifted few who get
it's tough, man.
sussed out, and even then,
yeah.
it's a chore trying to find your way into the.
It takes I want to say like 70% luck sometimes just to find your way in, because there's a lot of talented people that don't stay in their field all the time. But I've been doing graphic design for about 20 years now. But
Wow.
yeah, but I still got my comics that I'll still draw for myself. I did a web comic for about 4 years. I'm hoping to pick that back up. I think I stopped at 940 comics, and I want to get to 1,000 before I put that to bed, I think. So I might pick that back up. It was called Destroyed by Robots, and it was just kind of like a little funny strip about things that I would be afraid of that I would make into comical scenarios so they wouldn't be so scary and stuff. So
Oh, cool. I
yeah.
never knew where that came from. I
Yeah.
followed every single one of them, but I didn't know.
yeah, kind of like I was like,
It's not funny, haha.
it's pretty fun.
It's
I try to make
peculiar,
it funny.
interesting
Yeah.
vantage points and stuff, but
Right.
they're not necessarily like set up, punchline, rug pull. Like, it's not.
Well, the good ones are. There's a lot of trash ones in there because sometimes you got to do it quick if you're doing 3 comics a week. But
Okay,
yeah,
so the numbers bore out. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You take something that you're anxious about and try to make a joke out of it. You know, sometimes that was a lot of the fuel that went into that one, and just that I wanted to be able to have my work online, which was kind of big too. So it was a way to kind of keep the love of cartoons and comics going while I was also trying to make a living and stuff. So
Yeah.
that
So
helped.
Destroyed by Robots is one.
That was one. Yep. That was I believe I took a break from that in 2020, and hopefully I'll get those last 60 strips up eventually.
Nice.
I haven't put it to bed yet, but I'll pick it back up eventually. And other than that, I just still try to keep drawing. I do, like you said, I did some work for Ben Cardoza for the Long Walk podcast, which is a really cool podcast with a bunch of people that we know, I think, on it. Like, I think Mark
Michael Adams, episode 5.
Yeah.
Go look it up.
Yeah, he's part of the cast. Our friend Laura Harper's in there.
I don't know her. I've heard all kinds of good things from all kinds of good people.
Great person, great artist. She's in that too, yeah. And I got to draw I think the second artwork that they had for it, which was just a blast. It was really cool working with Ben. He was very open to cool ideas and gave a lot of good input and stuff. And that was a fun little project.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I'm waiting on season 2.
Yeah, me too.
Because I'm a fan.
Yeah.
But also because I'm going to be playing one of the characters.
Oh, awesome! You're gonna be there too. We're gonna hear your voice too.
I haven't put that out there to anybody yet because it hasn't been recorded.
Ooh.
It hasn't been it's not.
Right on.
It's not out there, but he put a call out for voice actors.
Heck yeah.
And it was something that years ago I had really wanted to do. And I grew up making voices.
Yeah.
Like, that was my, I guess, my way of getting attention that wasn't negative attention. Is
Yep.
I would make up voices, and I would kind of do or repeat funny things that I had heard. My favorite was Bobby from
Bobby's
Howie
World?
Mandel.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's before Bobby's World.
When he used to do the stand up,
When he was doing it in his stand up, yeah. And he even says today, like, I wasn't a stand up. I didn't set out to be a stand up. It was just a thing that I did, and it got such a massive laugh at the club where I did it. That was it. And I was like, okay, it's a thing that I can do.
Right.
And the club owner was like, so can I book you next week? When are you coming back? And he was like, no. I don't know how to do a comedy thing. And he was like, just do the same thing you just did. What are you talking about? It's gonna be all different people next.
Yep.
So I would do that. But so when he put that out, I messaged and said, I'd be happy to do a read. You tell me if it's anything that you want. And he responded. I sent him a few different samples of, reads on text that he sent me. And he was like, I love it. You're going to be this character. I like the way that you came at it.
Nice.
So I'm waiting to hear what the script is, read through it, and it's going to be crazy that I'm sitting here as a fan waiting to hear season 2, and now I'm going to get to read through season 2 before it comes out, which I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah, it gives me another reason to look forward to it now. That's awesome, man. Breaking news.
But yeah, Mark Michael Adams also a part of it.
Yep.
I love that dude.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, really cool. So Ben Cardoza, I believe tomorrow his podcast comes out. So whenever someone's hearing this, you can go back and check out the Cardoza podcast if you haven't checked it out already. But so what was I'm trying to remember the name of the other graphic novel that you were doing. Was it Sword?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I had one for a while called Sword to Shield. That was my more serious, comic booky kind of one.
I love that one.
That was a character I made when I was in college, and it kind of just stuck with me for a long time. And eventually, it took until I was able to draw digitally, where I could actually get them the way I wanted them to look, and kind of get the pages going and stuff. So yeah, I put one issue of that online that I'm calling issue 0 now because my art style's changed since then, and I think for the better. I look at some of the old stuff and I think it looks a little rushed.
Okay.
But I've always had a soft spot for that story. Like, it's something I've always written in the back of my head for a long time that I wanted to, I don't know, just see on the page. So I'm definitely coming back to that one as well. But,
yeah?
It's.
I can't wait.
I'm going to keep everything I've done as issue 0 and kind of build off of that, I think, and just try to hit it hard with the new art style and see what happens.
Do a reboot.
Yeah, exactly. A soft reboot.
A soft reboot.
Plus, I think some Russian site stole Sword to Shield from me because I did the rookie move of not renewing it when I should have, and they took that out. So now I'm changing it to. Don't
tell them.
I don't know, because I'm pretty sure that's not doing so great for them. So maybe they'll leave me alone this time. No, no, I think it's too close to Pokemon, so I probably grabbed it in a money grab, I imagine.
Probably.
It's because they what was it? Pokemon Sword and Shield came out around that time, and then I lost the domain. So I was like, they must have thought it was something else.
I wonder. Just bad translation.
Yeah, because I wasn't doing gangbusters on views or anything like that. They had nobody had any reason to snipe it, but it just happens sometimes,
I was hitting it.
There you go. It's just got the shot.
Yeah, I was definitely following along. They were getting all the clicks from my IP.
There we go. I appreciate it. I'm glad you liked it.
Oh, it was wicked good. It was awesome. Well written, well illustrated.
Yeah,
really cool stuff. I can't wait until that comes back. And whoever's watching, I highly encourage you. Follow along. Do you have any time frame?
I actually got about 4 or 5 pages of line work done. I'm hoping 2026 I'll start rolling stuff out again.
Hell yeah.
You can still find the old issues on thedamagersaga.com, and that's where I got the first 24 pages, I think.
Thedamagersaga.com.
Yeah, so if you want to see my not so great early stuff, go ahead and check that out.
Great. I disagree. I believe it's awesome. I had a blast checking that out. So if it's going to come back in any kind of a more grandiose fashion, I number one believe you. Two, I super look forward to it.
Hopefully a little more refined, I guess. That's
Yeah.
what I'm hoping for. But
I
we'll
would
see.
imagine.
We'll
So
see.
you also do all of the, I don't know how many people know this, all of the illustrating work, all of the posters, all of the artwork for Cursed on Earth.
Yep.
Very obviously, we go in-house
Yep. Yeah.
because we have access.
Right.
And that's always been a thing where, like, being in bands and playing shows for a long time, there's always that thing of, like, who's going to make the poster, and whoever's best at making the posters makes all of them, and it's always kind of a chore, and you get, like, a template, and you don't really go too far outside or go too wild, but you make posters that kind of reflect visually a little bit of kind of who the band is, the style or whatever, and then just make sure the date, location, tickets, all of that stuff is on it. With Cursed on Earth, we have the artist like in the band. So you make things, the posters that you make are always like, I get asked constantly, like, who the hell do you guys have making posters for you? Like, that's got to run you a bit. And we're like, nah, nope. We just give him advanced notice of when the show is, and he does whatever he wants to do. We don't weigh in. He puts something out that is going to be better than any of us could have given direction for.
We try. I try. But we all wear multiple hats in the band.
We do.
That's just the way it goes when you're the the part-time warrior.
Well, that's the
trying to get
thing.
your music going,
It doesn't always work that way.
No, that is true.
And that's another point where I appreciate you and Ryan a huge amount, is it's not like one person doing all of the work. Each of us who does what we do, we operate to our strengths. You clearly operate to yours because everything you contribute is phenomenal. So it ends up like whatever it is that I do, I'm always like, I'm not doing enough. God damn it, I'm not doing enough. I need to do more. And Ryan has this really cool function of he hones everything that I come up with because he knows we get one shot to get Justin on board with this idea. And he's either going to be cool with it or he's not. So everything that I throw at him, he goes, meh, maybe not that, but maybe this. But if we do it like this, and so it all gets like refined. And then by the time we talk to you about it and we're like, what do you think about this? Usually you're like, yeah, cool. And it just seems like you're the most easygoing guy. But part of it is Ryan knows you really, really well.
Yep.
And he knows what you're going to be cool with and what you're not going to be cool with. And, we have to get it to a point where not only do we see a way in, we know our way out and we know why we're doing it.
Right. And we're all comfortable with it.
We're all comfortable with it, and it's going to go theoretically according to plan as long as we do it just like this.
Right.
So it works super, super well. I would say anyway.
Yeah, I think so too.
I appreciate it, the writing process with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
But it's everybody is working, everybody's doing something. That is It's just the most common thing with other bands is that like eventually someone's going to burn out because somebody's doing all the work.
Exactly.
And then eventually they're just like, I'm not doing that.
They get tired of waking everybody up and getting them out of bed and stuff to go do this or that.
Or they feel like nobody is appreciative enough of what they do.
Yeah.
And then like the ego comes in and people start getting defensive and
Yeah.
it's a recipe for disaster. It always comes undone.
Right.
But yeah, we're like 8 years now and I mean, the blip exists in there and, health issues. Mm-hmm. So we've got one album out and a second one that hopefully within the next week or so we'll have all of the scratch tracks done. So that's not just written.
Cross your fingers.
Yeah. There's a tall order on one of those tracks and Ryan is up against it and I feel for him because it's like it's that balancing act where if at the right moment in the song he doesn't start the pattern that resolves literally on a specific word entry for you, the rest of it is off.
Right.
So, and it doesn't follow with any pattern that explicitly is starting right there. So he's kind of on his own.
Yep.
So he needs to map out where that pattern starts, and where whatever it is that we're doing in the song, he's doing that. So he
Right.
needs to write the intro to that part so that it flows seamlessly and it makes sense. And then that culminates with that moment in the song where you're hitting.
Right. So he's kind of like he's diving out, skydiving. He's got to hit the target.
Yeah,
Move
exactly.
around.
Yeah, he's skydiving, no parachute, and he's looking for that net right
Yeah.
there.
And it's moving around a little
And
bit.
it's moving around a little bit. Yeah, he's got to time the landing just right. So, but once that is done, that's volume 5,
Yep.
which is volume 5 because you and Ryan wrote 4 volumes years ago, and you were saying you wrote like a bunch of songs and didn't use all of them.
Yep.
Brilliant. You're not supposed to use all of the songs you write because not all of the songs you
Yeah.
write are like either ready at a moment's notice or gems.
Right, for sure.
So the cool thing about what you and Ryan did when you did the RPM challenge for those volumes 1 through 4 is you guys wrote like 100 songs and picked 10. So of those albums, your favorite 10 in that bunch is on that album. So the cool thing is when I started playing with you guys, I just started learning and crafting, and then once we had volume 2, basically all of the tracks on volume 2 are ready, we could just go and record it. So we're working on volume 4 a couple of years ago, and we were like, okay, so we can either learn these last couple songs and get them ready, or all of these new songs that have been written and not recorded at all, we can do these and come back to 4.
Right.
So that question of like, are we going to have material when this album comes out, or are we starting completely from scratch? My God, we can't even get to volume 3. The next is volume 5. So that'll come out like end of 25, sometime in 26, which means 26 is supporting that, shows for that. Work on volume 4 recommences at the end of 26 into 27. Volume, and then that's out 27, 28. Then you have volume 1 would likely be the next one after that. We've got a handful of songs already completely done. We've been playing out on volume 1, so now you're into like 28, 29, playing that one for shows and releasing 29. Maybe it bleeds into 30. We're into like 2031 to 2032 if we write no more songs.
Yeah, we just stop.
Before volume 3 even comes out. And that's where like More to a Home and My Own Shadow and all of these others that are just crowd pleasers at shows, before we can even get to those. So Ryan was always worried, like, are we gonna have a sophomore slump? Like, no, dude. There's like,
there's a lot of work to do still.
there's oh my God. And if I know you and Ryan, I mean, there's already I think 2 songs on volume 6 that they're not done perfectly. I mean, those still need to get worked on a little bit, but like volume 5's written, volume 6 has already begun. And then there's still all of these songs we've been playing for years that people are like, when is that song coming out? When is that one coming out? And we're like, I don't know, 2031? I don't know.
Yeah, it depends, right?
It's going to be a bit.
Yep.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah. It's a lot of material to have fun with.
It is.
That's what it comes down to.
That's for sure. And it'll probably, depend on how, not how things are adapted, but certainly adding Curtis into the mix, and having cello going into all of the songs that we're working on.
Yeah.
It may change the weight, By that I mean WEIGHT, like how much our emphasis are we putting on getting this one out, getting this one done. So I guess that brings up an interesting question. There's a massive toss-up in music right now, which is, do you continue writing albums, or do you write singles and put them out as they come? Because that old distribution model is broken. And it's not something that we were intent on following
Right.
anyway, which is you have to have a label, and the label wants their songs because they need their product to then put marketing behind and distribute and, try and create groundswell. That's how they're going to make their money back.
Right.
We don't have any of those constraints. We're self-produced. So what's your feeling on that?
I mean, that's a toughie because the traditional in me is oh, you gotta have an album, right? You gotta songs come out with 10 songs. That's how you put out music. But like you're saying, it's a digital age now. Things are distributed differently. There's EPs. You can in the way we're hooked up with our Apple Music and stuff like that. Like if you got a song that doesn't necessarily fall into the plan, but sounds really cool and you want people to hear it, you have that avenue to let it loose if you want to, and that's
like Winter Hearth.
Winter Hearth, yeah, that was
whatever
one.
for.
Yeah,
Neither of those are on.
Those are on no albums, but
Winter Hearth is on Joel Glenn Wixon's Holiday
right
album.
That's right.
And Whatever For is on Guy Capicolatro's album 60-Second Songs.
Right, because that was his 1 minute song that he wrote. Right?
Yeah, the 1 minute song.
Yep.
That he wrote 3 other songs or 4 other songs trying to write a 1 minute song. Because it's evidently almost impossible to write a 60-second song because you have to get right into it. You have to establish.
No intro or outro.
Yeah, well, the intro and outro have to be the lead into either the chorus or the hook.
Yeah. You got to get your point across.
You don't
get
get
it fast.
8 or 10 or 12 measures to establish a setting.
Yep.
You have to get right into it.
Yeah, you're yelling at an old friend instead of telling somebody a story. Got it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I misspoke. Those 2 songs aren't on any of our albums, but they do exist.
They're on other
on other good
albums out there.
Yeah.
But we did reserve the right to put them out on our own, and the digital rights will revert to Cursed on Earth. It's not like they were written and given away. They are still us. Like on the Holiday album, DistroKid didn't allow him to give credit on a compilation album.
Interesting, okay.
So the Winter Hearth online is credited to Joel Glenn Wixon.
Oh, okay.
Even though no dispute, it's our song.
Yeah.
We just haven't put it out yet because there's that question, does it go on an album?
Yeah,
it's a Christmas song, but it's a holiday song.
Yeah.
It's clear. There's jingle bells basically at the beginning of it, but played on guitar.
Right.
But it's we're not doing a whole Christmas album.
No.
I cannot imagine that's going to happen.
Yeah, so I think I guess my feelings on that is just same thing with a lot of situations. It's job specific, right? So it's if the timing's right and it feels right, then then you're free to put it out as you will, and there's no set way to do it, I suppose. You just keep your album together, and every now and then you might get an outlier that you're like, I think people are gonna want to hear this. Try, and it goes song by song. Sometimes, you never know when inspiration's gonna hit, I suppose.
Yeah, that was the other part of the conversation I was having with Dan earlier, was the willingness to show up for the muse and just sit and start channeling.
Yeah.
It seems like you and Ryan have just a direct tap into that creative flow, and you're good at allowing it to flow through you.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I guess it can happen in a few different ways, like you say, but I always say I spend half of my day in the clouds a lot of times, because it's just it kind of comes naturally to me just because of the way I was brought up. I think I'm constantly I'm never bored. I'll always say because I'm always daydreaming about what would make this more interesting, like that, and that I think that's a lot of where I don't know, the songwriting comes from is that I'll take a simplest idea that I try to like, what would make this notion depressing, or what would make this notion joyous and stuff like that, and then you kind of build off like that from there. And I've never had a situation where I had to like, where I sit at the desk and go, I gotta be creative right now. Like I usually get the urge and then I sit down a lot of times, and I don't think I've had an issue where I haven't been able to find that, because it's such a familiar world to me. Like it's where I like to be. I think I feel safer and more at home when I'm coming up with things that don't exist yet. I just it makes me I don't know, it makes me happy.
So you're sort of a gym rat for the creative muscle.
A little bit of Fred Panner. It's like,
You spend all your time in the creative dojo.
yeah, in the Magic Woods or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's better than it's better than the alternative sometimes. So.
It really is. Is that your pivot into Gaza, Israel? You want to get into the real world?
That's one of the things. There's no Gaza Israel dispute in the Magic Woods right now.
Maybe what they need to do is sit and get more into their creative muscle. And
I think a lot of people could, man. You just get
I think there's a lot of benefit that could be had from that. I
think
agree
so,
with
too.
you. Yeah, rather than taking everything so goddamn seriously.
I think that could be said for a lot of us. Like I know in my normal everyday, it's way easier to not have disputes than it is to have them. Sometimes, if I could maneuver around them in my daily life, I will always take that road most of the time, because there's always something better to do than fight with someone,
Oh God, yeah, yeah, without a doubt.
But I know that the geopolitical landscape, that is far more complicated than my everyday life. So
And it goes back years and years and years, and it's always like, well, whose side are you reading?
Right.
And the history is written by the winners, and even when you read the history that was written by the losers, like, is that the truth? It's somewhere in between, maybe, or it's neither the truth written by the winner or the loser. It's some other perspective, because neither the winner nor the loser had really a full understanding of what was going on, or they wouldn't have been fighting in the first place.
That's the thing, man. Yeah, and I'm nowhere near qualified to speak on it. I'm only qualified to feel bad for the people that it's hurting. I suppose that's all I can do. It's too complicated of a thing that I'm not close enough to say anything meaningful on it. And I'm sorry that things like that are happening.
Yeah.
Mostly. That's what I feel.
Yeah. To me, the crazy thing is that a lot of conflicts all over the place have been going on so long. The people that are alive right now aren't even close enough to the origin of the conflict to know what the conflict is.
Yeah.
There was a Doctor Who episode that was really good, where they pop into a place and time where there's just this war going on back and forth, and the sides hate each other bitterly, and it's always kill that side, and they're trying to figure out what the hell is happening here. And to make sense of it, it's not a spoiler, it's been out long enough, but at the end they realize that the war has only been going on for like 28 minutes. Who's fighting thinks it's been going on for hundreds of years, but it turns out they're clones. So to them, time started 15 seconds ago.
Yeah.
And what they know is that the other side is the enemy, and they fight to the death. And then another clone pops out, and it's just like, well, this is the unending war. We have to, and it's just battle. And then he's like, this is a complete misunderstanding, and then shows them all of what and why. And, it's how do you convince these people that are just so immersed in the fighting that if you just pull way back and look at it, it's like nobody that's alive right now is fighting for what they think they're fighting for.
Right. Yeah, that's one of the things I love about sci-fi, is how they can take such big and meaningful concepts and put them and boil them down into a not a simplified way, but a easier way to understand. It kind of turns things into a parable in a futuristic and entertaining way that that it kind of is deceiving a lot of times. Other than the best sci-fi that I like is always about big concepts. And I think that's really novel and cool.
What are some of them? You
Ooh,
rattle off some favorites that people can dig into.
recently, I think I really got into the Hyperion series. That
Hyperion, like Borderlands Hyperion?
No, this was a sci-fi book by I believe Dan Simmons, I want to say. But it was, it's one of those like lofty, hard sci-fi, super future books that it just has like that. If you kind of take your eyes off it for a minute, you're bored to tears. But if you pay attention to the minutia, then it's really interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, and I got a kick out of that one. That was a fun book.
My ADHD ass would be rereading paragraph after paragraph after paragraph. You know,
Yeah,
what did I miss?
I did a little bit about that too. Yeah. I think that was my last like hard sci-fi that I really liked. But I mean, of course, the Dune series, the first like 4 or 5 books of that, I could reread again and again. I liked a lot of what that had to say. More of the fantasy realm. I know Ryan's a fan of this too, but we got really into the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. That was like,
Yeah, he was way into that.
yeah, that was a huge one too. Like it's something to be said about some sweeping epics, that kind of I don't know, they're almost a little bit more outrageous than they are given credence to be. I find like very enjoyable.
So, Hyperion,
Yep.
Dune, Wheel of Time. That's 3. That's all. If people are interested in picking up on what you're laying down, that's a lot of time to get through just those 3.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of hours.
So what about anime? What are some animes that that stand the test for you?
That is a tough one too, because I do enjoy a little anime here and there. But like we've talked about before, I always go back to my favorite, the original Full Metal.
Hell yeah,
animated
Full Metal
series.
Alchemist.
Yeah, that one hit me in the right spot, early 2000s, I think. And man, it wasn't like anything I had seen or read before, and
Yeah.
that I glommed onto that pretty hard, and I still think about it. I don't know, maybe like every couple weeks. It's in my mind,
Yeah.
I thought it was such a great story, and I love how the original animated series was such a perfect little bubble of a story. You know what I mean? It just existed in its own little thing, and it told a concise story. I still go back to it every now.
Yeah. Oh, it certainly holds up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan and I've had this conversation a number of times. What makes the most sense for somebody to see if they are looking for a new anime to grab onto? Would it be Full Metal Alchemist or Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood? And the answer is a weird one, because we all fell in love with Full Metal Alchemist.
Right.
But we also fell in love with Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch Brotherhood first, is it more explained, less explained? Is it not enough explained? There's other stuff going on that you don't necessarily need
Right.
to know, but if you do know it eventually, it's great.
Yeah.
Watching the first one first, is that better? And then have fun with Brotherhood, because, all the...
See, yeah, that I do have thoughts on that, and I tend to lean more towards that, because normally Brotherhood is closer to the manga.
Yeah.
Full Metal Alchemist, the animated series, is its own thing, pretty much, with the same characters from the manga, but the author interpreted it into an anime. So she said that in order to make a story work in this format, this is how I'm going to tell the tale. So I always tell people that starting off with the original anime is a great way into it, because it kind of like leads you in there, and you pick up things so nicely. You get that cool little in the middle after you're done with it. You could watch the movie Conqueror Shambhala,
Yeah.
which is one of my favorite animated films. I still love that.
Really good.
And then the icing on the cake is, hey, oh, now there's also a series that follows the manga.
Guess
it's
what?
Like, yeah, it's just more good stuff, you know. At the
All
end of,
new adventures.
yeah, I'd say that's how to tackle that one. But I mean, to each their own. Like I said, you know, it's I know Ryan. He watched the movie first because I let him borrow the Conqueror of Shambhala, and then that's how he got into it.
Ryan watched Conqueror and then the animated series
Yeah.
and then Brotherhood.
Yep.
Interesting. So we all came at it from different angles.
Right.
The first one that I saw was Brotherhood
That's right.
because that's the closest to the manga.
Yep.
And then you and Ryan were so into original animated and the movie that Ryan insisted I watch the original animated and then the movie. Right. So he started out with the movie and then original animated and then Brotherhood. You started out original anime, movie,
Yep.
then Brotherhood.
Yeah, I kind of went chronologically, so I don't know if that's informing my decision or not.
God, I don't know, because we all have our own different way into it.
We all love it.
And
That's
we
the
all
thing.
absolutely love
Yep.
Full Metal.
So I guess there's no wrong way to
There's
do
no
it.
wrong way to get into it. Just grab anything and enjoy.
Dive in and see if you like it.
Anyone who is into good story at all, find any kind of Full Metal Alchemist and just start watching. You're going to love it.
Enjoy, even if you pick up the manga first and get a taste, you know?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Because that's always fun, too. And, like, the artist will, like, put little doodles on the sides of the pages and stuff on that one, so that's a fun read, too. It's like, you get a little insight into their day-to-day life,
Yeah.
which is kind of fun.
So Full Metal. What else you got?
Oh, man. It's been, you know what, I'm kind of been hungry for a new anime to watch. I haven't jumped on one in a while. Like, I know me and Curtis were talking the other day about Free Reign. That is kind of very interesting because it speaks to the D&D nerd in me.
Yeah.
But that's been kind of just a beautiful one to look at, and the story is kind of like bittersweet, but also kind of well done. Like I've been enjoying that a little bit. I've only got like 4 episodes into that one, but I was like, hey, I could get into this some more.
I haven't checked any of it out. I'm so excited to check it out because if you and Curtis are both super stoked on it.
Yeah, I'm glad that he said the rest of it's good too, but because I haven't got too far, but I would recommend getting into that one too. I think, I mean, other than that, I just, man, it's tough to think of the faves right now. You know,
Lost?
I mean? Yeah, it's a tough one.
Oh, what is the one that, is it Mullen or Master?
Oh yeah, that was Last Exile, the original.
Last Exile.
Yeah, that was a very good one too. That was one that, first glance, you would think it's going to be boring as hell, but it speaks to you in a cool way.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one. There's this really obscure one that me and Ryan always used to joke about. It was Tower of Droga. It was based off like an Impossible video game from like I think the 80s, I believe. But it's animated so well that it's kind of like a fun little series that I never saw anything else come out of it. I think that it had 2 seasons, and we still joke about parts of it and stuff every now and then. That's one of my fave, but for different reasons, I think, just because it was so goofy and fun.
What are you drawn into? Because you come at things not only from a storyteller perspective, but also from an illustration perspective.
Right.
Does one thing weigh out for you over another, like, or do they both have to be exceedingly present to keep your attention?
I mean, initially, I am drawn to the visuals. They'll get my attention, but the story will keep me around most of the time.
Castlevania.
Yeah, Castlevania. It looked beautiful, but then the voice acting and the story were so good. So I was like,
really good.
So I was like, okay, I'll enjoy looking at this, and I'm going to stick around and pay attention. This is great.
Yeah, that was a killer.
Yeah, whereas like I've seen some anime that look beautiful, but there's nothing there, and it's hard to like, and you can't grasp onto anything. You can't like, you got to kind of grab onto a character to be able to relate to something in it, or relate to their wants and needs a little bit. And there's some that just look beautiful, but they're so boring because you can't like there's no story driving, like pulling you through it and stuff.
Yeah.
So you can have one, you can have the other, but it's always always better when you got both.
Yeah.
It makes a more enjoyable experience.
But there is an element where you have to have that story pulling you through, or you
I
kind of
think
get
so.
bored with it.
Yeah, you got. I
Can't just be all poppy, fluffy,
Yep.
feely good.
right.
There's got to be something pulling you through.
I mean, with the exception of Dragon Ball, that is just fun, and there's a lot of filler,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
I'll sit through it.
I want to know your take on this one. I think I know Ryan's. Death Note.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you on Death Note, the anime? I don't mean the movie. I don't mean the remake. I mean Death Note.
I thought when I saw the first episode of that, I was doing a 24-hour comic day, which is where you try to make a 24-page comic in 24 hours. So, and it was about midnight, so I was already a little out of my mind. And that came on, and I was like, "This is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life." Like that first episode of it with the way you're introduced to the world.
Incredible.
And stuff. Yeah, so good. And I thought that first season was some of the best animated storytelling I'd ever seen.
Agreed.
I thought it was fantastic. I even enjoyed partly into the next one a little bit, but I felt like the ending kind of fell apart a little bit on me. Not that it didn't ruin it for me, but I was like, man, I really wish that had a better payoff to it. Yeah?
I
Not to get
consider
spoiler.
the first season to be some of the most spectacular, not just anime, storytelling.
Yeah, it was thrilling.
The world itself became so vivid and so incredibly appealing that I was like, well, this takes it.
Yeah.
All of the animes that I've ever seen, everything falls short. It's all a culmination leading us to Death Note, the most perfect anime ever made. This is clearly going to be a win through and through if they can keep this thing on the rails. And then, into the second season, still great. And then it seems like halfway through the second season, there was a writer's strike or something. Or they replaced all of the writers. Or they ran out of money, drive, determination, something.
Yeah, something changed.
I became so furious at the people who produced it
Yeah.
come the final 2 episodes, because I'm just like, you've been so perfect on every single character and who they are, how they are, what they're doing, where this thing is going, and then all of a sudden you're writing these characters completely out of, not just out of context, but there's absolutely no way that character would have said and acted in that manner. You've just completely pulled this out of your ass to try and make some other thing work after spending so much time getting it so right. It's almost like you went, whatever, we got to wrap this thing up, so let's just dial it in. And
Yep.
and I to this day, I'm still mad at them taking it so far off the rails,
Right.
because it literally was the most perfect anime ever made. And you can't even just watch the first season and go, well, that was fun.
No, yeah, I would at its time it was a monster for sure. That was it really grabbed people, but it, like you said, like when characters start acting in a way that they have not previously to then, it kind of pulls the curtain back a little bit, which is like the cardinal sin of any kind of story or entertainment. Like when it breaks that agreement between reader or viewer and artist, and you're like,
That's it.
all of a sudden, like, this doesn't seem like a thing anymore. And
I can't trust you anymore.
yeah,
I've been able to trust
Yeah.
the entire way through and turn over every single bit of my... I've suspended disbelief completely. I've allowed you to think for me and to create this thing, and I'm just buying it completely.
Yeah.
And now you're deceiving me.
yeah, and then all of a sudden it's not fun for a second. And
Yeah.
you're like, So I can get where you're coming from on there. I'm not as mad about it, but I can see where that would where it would grow.
So what I'm hearing is I need to settle the hell down and let them off because it's their thing to create, not mine.
No, you have every right to be mad.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to remain mad. I'm going to hold on to the anger.
It'll keep you fresh and alive.
Anger is a gift. So says Zach De La Rocha.
There you go.
Don't hate. Hate is a cancer. Anger is a gift. Well, that's I got to tell you, man. I could talk to you forever. If there's any, is there anything that you haven't talked about that you want to get out?
No, I think we covered a wide range of stuff. Nothing sticking in my craw that I feel like I got to get out into the open for anything. I feel like we've had a good conversation.
Cool. Well, we've talked a little bit about all of the different things that you're doing, and people have probably at this point figured out how to put together, how to get in touch, or to follow you. Maybe that's the thing. Where, if other than, follow Cursed on Earth on the social media, and a Long Walk podcast to get an idea, a view of some of the other stuff. What was the name of that website again? That
You got
either Destroyed by Robots or Sword to Shield.
Yeah, you can go destroyedbyrobots.com, all one word. You can go thedamagersaga.com, one word. Or my freelance is carefulbearstudios.com. It's where you can commission me to do drawings for you or design and stuff.
Careful Bear Studios. That's where you want to go. So if people go to one of these places, do you want anybody following you on social media? Is that a thing, or do you?
I'm not the most exciting guy, but I'm on Instagram. You can find me there.
Yeah, I'm a weird one on Instagram. I do the thing where, like, if you're not a real person or you don't message me on Facebook, I don't add people who add me unless they send me a message and they're like, "Hi."
Oh, right on. You're one of the real ones.
Yeah, I mean, what? I don't like being collected. I think that's what it is. But I forget that, like, some people just want to follow what you're doing.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's their version of following what you're doing.
Yeah, I'd say if you want to see a curated gallery of my stuff, go to my website. If you wanted to see my doodles and drawings, go to my Instagram. You can go to
Yeah, that makes
less
sense.
serious stuff.
Okay, cool. So don't necessarily go find you on social media, add you, and then start.
Yeah, you don't have to. You got better
Message.
things to do.
You get better things to do. Yeah. Get off social media. Yeah. Spend less time watching and more time doing.
There you go.
That's a hell of a lot healthier way to go.
Yeah.
Cool. Brother, I love you for doing this and for taking the time to hang out and chat. You're generally a man of very few words. And we all know this. If everyone is chatting and you're quiet and then you say something, everyone goes quiet and goes, "What?" Like, there's a gem that just dropped. Even Nevin the other night was like, "I'm really looking forward to the Justin conversation because I don't know him to say many words and I don't know how you're going to fill a bunch of time." And I said, well, they're gems when he talks. He talks around people that he's comfortable with and familiar with, and when he's talking about stuff that's interesting. Otherwise, he doesn't feel the need to just spout off. He's not exactly like me.
Trying to not reveal myself to be an idiot.
You'd have to work real hard to convey idiot to anybody. It's been a blast. Thanks for doing this.
I appreciate it, man.
Everybody go and check out Cursed on Earth. I know I am biased because I'm playing in it, but #1 super fan of Cursed on Earth music here. Keep an eye out for anything and everything Paul Justin Hollingsworth. The dude's a phenom. So thank you for hanging out and listening and watching all the cameras. Seacoast Music Scene and Seacoast Entertainer, thank you, and love you all. We'll see you out there. Here they are. Without these folks, taking Seacoast Entertainer to the next levels wouldn't be happening, not to this scale. Tangram 3DS actively supports our music and arts scene and has proudly been part of it for the last 20 years. Their creative pros bring vision to life with everything from 3D renderings and VR to video, animation, web design, and branding. As a team of artists living and working on the Seacoast, Tangram considers a thriving local culture essential to us all for the connections we make, communities we build, and creativity we foster. Visit tangram3ds.com to learn more, see their work, and imagine what they can do for you.